So we have covered all transformations. Now today I am going to explain flat files. So far we have seen sources are tables and the targets are also tables. So flat files. A flat file is nothing but a notepad file or text file that contains data. There are two types of flat files generally we see: fixed width, delimited. In fixed width flat file we are going to define each and every field size. In a delimited flat file, we are going to separate each and every field with a some symbol. I am going to show. Suppose employee number 3 digits and then followed by name 4 characters and then salary 4 digits. We are going to define each and every field size. Suppose if data is coming like this, then automatically the value goes to the next column. It will go to the employee name. So that is the drawback of fixed width flat files. So unless you know that is compulsory, we always get into a fixed length, we go for delimited. So delimited there is no problem. So we will separate each and every field with some symbol pipe Ravi. So even if you get big value also, after that you will get pipe symbol. So we will treat whatever before pipe symbol, it will treat as a single field. So no issues. In real time also we always follow and we always prefer go for delimited flat files. Or because in future if the length changed or something changed, not an issue. If it is a fixed width, then those values move to the next field. That is the drawback of the fixed width flat files. Delimited means you can separate each and every field with some symbol. Sometimes you can see comma delimited, sometimes you can see pipe delimited or some other symbols also you can see. Now I am going to show. First of all, my source is a table and my target is a flat file. I want to write data into a flat file. My source is table. I am going to show how to do that. I am connecting to source. Select star from employee. So this is my source. I want to write this data into a flat file, delimited flat file, pipe delimited flat file. That is my requirement. This is my source. Any questions so far? Okay. Now I am connecting to Informatica PowerShell delimiter. Now double click on repository, enter the user ID and password. Now double click on your folder. So for any task we have 3 steps. First one is creation of mapping, second one creation of session, third one is creation of workflow or use the existing workflow. In order to create a mapping, we need to verify whether our source and target structures are ready or not. What is my source here? Employee. My source is already available. I need not import any. I am going to import flat file structure. If already file is there, you can import from the file. If file is not there, you can manually create the target structure. So select target designer. From the menu bar, select targets. If file is available, you can select this option, import from file. I don't have file, so go to create option. There are 2 possibilities. You can create a flat file structure. So here in the drop down, select flat file. ff_tgp, whatever you want, you click on. Now double click on this. It opens a dialog box. You can see by default delimited. You can see advanced. By default it is a comma delimited. I want pipe. Replace with pipe. Click on OK. Now your plan is to create a type delimited flat file. Go to columns, add the columns. So how many columns you have in the source? 3 columns: employee number, name, salary. Those 3 columns. Employee number, employee name, employee salary. Number is you can apply. So I have created flat file target structure repositories. If flat file is already available, you can import the structure or you can create manually. Now my source and targets are ready. I can create a mapping using mapping designer tool. Any questions so far? Select mapping designer. From the menu bar, select mappings, click on create option. M underscore flat file underscore target. Drag your source. Similarly, your target. What is your target? FFTCT. Connect all the ports from source qualifier to target. Repository. So, any questions? By seeing the mapping itself, you can tell. You can see my mouse cursor, Oracle, in parentheses. In target, you can see flat file. By seeing the mapping, you can tell what's your source and what's your target. My source is a Oracle, and my target is a flat file. Now I'm going to create a session. Second step. Select Workflow Manager tool. Select Task Developer. From the menu bar, select Tasks, click on Create. Enter the session. S underscore M underscore workfile underscore. Click on. So select your mapping. Mapping is not saved. Save. M underscore workfile. Yeah. Click on. Click on. As usual, we need to give connections. Double click on the session. Go to mapping tab. Your source is a table, so you need to give source relational connection. But your target is not a table. You cannot give relational connection. You need to give where you want to create a file. Output file directory and output file name. Select target. So here you can see output file directory and output file name. So I'm giving, I want to generate a file under C drive. My computer, C drive, flat files. So in this folder, I want to create a file. That is my requirement. C drive, flat files folder. So give the path here, output file directory, C drive / flat files. In real-time environment, you are going to give the Unix path. Why? Because your Informatica server installed on Unix paths in real time. So here we installed in Windows, so we are giving Windows path. What is the output file name? emp underscore, whatever the name you want, you can give it. So whenever your target is a flat file, you need to specify the path in which place you want to create a file. Output file directory, output file name, and you want header also. You can see one option here. By default, header options, no header. I need output field name as header. So total 3 days. Click on apply. Okay. Any questions so far? Repository. Save. Now my first 2 steps are completed: creation of mapping, creation of session. Third step is creation of workflow or use the existing workflow. Select workflow designer. Expand sessions folder. Select your session flat file repository. Now select your session, right click, start task. Select your session, right click, get run properties. See here, 5 rows read from source, those 5 rows loaded into the target. Now check whether file is created or not. See, flat file, see, file is created. See, 5 records. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, this is the header. In this way, you can generate flat files. Sometimes in real-time environment, we need to give our data to our downstream systems. In such cases, we will create a flat file and we will give this flat file to them. So you sometimes we can generate comma delimited, sometimes pipe delimited, whatever the symbol we want, we can generate. Any questions so far? Okay.
So this flat file is the data which is loaded in the target.
Sorry?
Whatever data you got in this flat file is the data which is loaded from the target.
Yes. See, this is a structure here only, simple. How the flat file should be. This is the structure. I need 3 columns. So these 3 columns are created in the flat file. This is the file. So we haven't created this file. So while executing, it was created the file automatically. Now I am going to take this as my source. Just now I have shown how to write a content to the flat file. Now reverse. My source is a flat file. I am getting. I want to write into a table. Now connect to target. Select start from. Select start from. So now rows here. So I'm going to use EMP as my target. My source is a flat file here. Now I want to load data into a EMP table. Right now it's empty. So first of all, you need to check whether your source and target structures are there or not. My target structure is available EMP. I need to import my source structure. My source is a flat file. So we have two options. Select source analyzer tool. You can either manually create option, or you can import from file. We have a file already. We can import from file this time. Import from file. So select C drive, flat files. So here select all files. So EMP info you can see. Click on OK. So it's imported data also you can see from that flat file. So here you can options delimited or fixed width. So here one option is the import field names from first line. We have field names, right? Select this and then click on next. So here you need to select delimiter. By default it is showing comma, not comma. Select other and give the type symbol here and then click on next. So here you want to change the field names, you can change existing field names. If you want to change the length also you can change. Otherwise click on finish. See, you imported the structure from flat file. So in the navigation bar also you can see flat file and the structure. There are two ways. Either you can manually create, or if file available you can import from the file structure. Repository. Now my source and target structures are ready. I can create a mapping using mapping designer tool. Select mapping designer tool. From the menu bar, select mappings, click on create option. M underscore flat file source. So what's your source? UMP info, drag it, flat file source. What's your target? UMP. So if it is a flat file, you can see source qualifier properties all are in disabled state. You can't do anything. If it is a relational table only, you can go for source filter or source joins or whatever. Correct? Yes. So in between, whatever the transformations you want, you can use in between source and target. Repository. Any questions so far?
I have one question.
Yeah, tell me.
Like if we create a source like as a flat file,
Mm-hmm.
so source always have some data. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So can we put some data in flat file by using create option?
No, no. See, we are if you have only structure also you can import from the flat file. So data need not be required. So already file is there, data is there. So it's that's why it show the data also. So you can ignore that also data. See, you remember in the mapping we always create structures. We are just doing here metadata. Simple. We are not taking any original data into the mapping. Mapping is nothing but logical representation of data flow. How the data should flow from source to target. What is your source column? What is your target column? Those things only we represent in the mapping level. In the session level, we give connections. Suppose if you want to connect to a database to read original data, give relational connection and get the data. Suppose if it is a flat file, we are going to give here source file directory and source file name where you want to read the flat file data. You are going to tell. This is just a metadata, nothing here. Clear?
Okay. Yeah.
So our second step is session. Select task developer. From the menu bar, select tasks, click on create. S underscore M underscore flat file underscore source. Click on create. Select your map. Click on. Okay. Now double click on the session. Go to mapping tab. So here you need to give connections. Your target is a table. So for target give relational connection. Target 62. What about your source? Your source is a flat file. You need to specify where the source file is. So what's your source file directory? C drive flat files. So what's the source file name? EMP info. So file EMP info.txt. So these two are the important properties: source file directory and source file name. Click on apply. Click on repository. So in the session level only, you are going to tell where you want to read, from which file you want to read. Select workflow designer tool. Select your session and drag it. Now select your source. Select your session. Okay, start. See here, 5 rows read from flat file. Those 5 rows loaded into the target. Now you can check in the database as well whether data loaded properly or not from flat file. Select start from. See, data loaded from flat file to table. Any questions so far?
Hi Venkat, I have a question.
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah. So now the process you followed is you have a source table. From source table, you created a flat file,
Not source
and
table.
from flat
Wait. So from flat file only I have created source structure. I imported.
no, no.
Mhm.
And this is now like before. What you have
Okay.
done is the
Yeah,
before
yeah, yeah.
step is you have
Yeah, correct. Go ahead.
like the first step where you have created a mapping using flat file, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have you took all the source data, and then all the from the source table, your target was a flat file.
Correct.
So like in case you don't have a source to create a flat file, can we do that manually, or
Yeah, you can create manually. See, I have shown right in the
like if
on source side also you have two options. Either you can manually create, there is option create, or you can go for import from file. Similarly in targets also, anywhere you have two options, create or import from file. In both places you have available. Clear? Hello.
okay, so when you click create, I'm not sure how the steps would go.
So
Can you show the create?
I have shown for target, right? Same steps here also. Okay. Sources create. So here you need to select flat file in the drop down. Enter the name. Create. Done. So here you need to add columns. So delimited. What type of delimited? Advanced. So type symbol. Create columns. Source columns. Remember name. That's it. The way we created target classes, same steps.
Yeah, so this is the structure. So what about the data?
Yeah, data is available in the file, right? So in the session level, we are giving read the data from this file using this structure. So in the session level, what we are telling, read this flat file data using that structure. Clear?
Yeah, sorry, I think there's some gap between what I'm thinking. You have created the flat files, you have created the source structure, right? So
Correct.
if this text file what you're showing now, so this text file can be created manually,
No,
whatever data we want.
we will get from SAR. So we will get from SAR this file into our landing directory wherever we want to store. You can place that file and you can start loading.
Okay.
Clear? So here I am going to show how to load multiple flat files data at a time. So far I have shown only one thing, one flat file at a time. I have multiple flat files. There is one option how to do that. I'm copying. So here I will maintain only 100 series employees. This is one flat file. This is one flat file. This is another flat file. So in this here I'm going to maintain only 200 series employees. In this one I'm going to maintain only 300 series employees. So I have three flat files. I want to load data into a single table. All these three flat files data I am getting from multiple sources. EMP info, EMP info 1, 200 series employees. Here you can see 300 series employees. I want to load data into a target table. So what we can do generally, we can create three mappings, three sessions, and in each and every mapping you can use same target. You want to load into same target, right? You can do that. So any alternative approach, yeah. So informatica, there is an alternative approach provided that is known as file list or file repository. Some people also call file indirect method. In the session level, we can create only one file as input. We cannot give multiple files as input. We don't have that facility. We can give only one file as input. So I'm going to create one file here. emp underscore final. This file is going to contain paths of all other files. Slash emp info.txt. In the session level, I am going to give this file, not the original files. I am going to give paths of these files. This method is known as file indirect method or file repository, some people call, or file list. So I will give this one in the session level. Automatically it will read all three files data one by one. I will show you how to do that. Any questions so far?
We can't use three files together as a source.
No. So you can go for union. We have one transformation, right? Go for union
Yeah.
and do that. So here, actually, if you observe here, these are sources only, right? EMP info 1, EMP info 2. We are going to read it as a single. But here, important thing is, when you want to go for this one, all columns should be same. Number of columns should be same. Here in how many columns? 3 columns. Here how many columns? 3 columns. Here how many columns? 3 columns. The number of columns and data types should match. Then only you can go for file list. Otherwise, you cannot use file list concept. So each and every file should have same number of columns. I'm going to create a mapping. So you know the source structure. So for all files, whatever I have three files, source structure is same. The source structure is same. So already I have created source structure. I can use it. What about my target? I am going to load into my target table EMP. So you can truncate your target table manually. Truncate table. So here I am going to create one mapping, one session. So from the menu bar, select mappings, click on m underscore file list. So drag your source and drag your. So mapping is same, only in the session level it will change. So if you observe, I have three source files, all three source files following same structure. So if source files are following different structures, you need to go for different sources. You need to drag multiple times. Why? Because each source structure is different. So here select the employee number, name, select. Mapping is normal only. Now I am going to create a session for this. Select task developer. From the menu bar, select tasks, click on enter the session. This underscore m underscore file list. Select the required mapping. Click on, click on. Now double click on the session. Go to mapping. So here your target is a table. So give the relational connection as usual. What about source? Your source is a flat file. So you have multiple flat files. So here one option is there. Source file type. Direct or indirect. Mine is indirect. Source file type. You need to select this option. By default, direct. Source file type you need to select indirect. And where is your source file directory? C drive, laptop. What is the file name? emp underscore final.txt. By default, source file type direct, you need to select to indirect. Why? Because this file, whatever I am giving input, source file name doesn't contain data, it contains parts of other files. So automatically it will read all the files data one by one. Any questions so far? Click on apply. Repository. This method is called as file list or file indirect. Select workload as a method. Select your session, drag it. Repository. Select your session. Let's play. See here 9 rows read from source, total 9 rows loaded to target. So each flat file contains 3 rows, 3 into 3, 9. Now check in the database. So in this way you can load multiple flat files data into a table at a time. You can place, suppose you are getting 10 sources, place all 10 source files in a single file, and in order to use that you should have same structure, all files should have same structure. And also important thing is, if there is a header, all files should contain header. If there is no header, all files should not contain header. Suppose if one file contain header and one file doesn't contain header, then it will skip first row, original data will be skipped. So you have to make sure if it contains header for all records. You can see in the session level the property also. Go to mapping, select your source. There is option here, set file properties. Click on advanced. See here by default it is showing number of initial rows to skip 1. So it is skipping header record while reading from the flat file. You see you have 3 flat files. So this one contains header, this one contains header, this one contains header. So from each and everything it is a skip. Suppose one file doesn't contain header, then first row itself will be skipped. You should be careful. Suppose if you want to skip top rows from each flat file, set number of initial rows to skip 2. Suppose if you want to skip top 5 rows from each flat file, set number of initial rows to skip as 5. Any questions? So here if you observe, I want to know this record is coming from which flat file. That is my requirement. By observing means I don't know from which flat file this data is coming. So we have one flexibility to populate our source file name. So for that what we need to do is, first we need to add a column in the empty table. Alter table emp add file name var to of 100. Now it select start from, see file name column is empty. Select start from, see file name column is empty right now. So how do we populate file name? So I'm truncating my target table. So here select source analyzer. You have one option here. Double click on your flat file structure. Go to properties tab. See here one checkbox you need to set. Add a currently processed file name. Just select this checkbox. This is the property. Add currently processed flat file name port. Apply. See automatically this port comes here. This port you need to drag it into target. Any questions? So target structure also you need to import. Why? Because you have changed in the table but you did not import. So import it. Targets. Replace. repository. Now open your mapping. So what you can do is, you can see here file length that they automatically came. So in the source it is available, currently processed file. Drag into source qualifier, from source qualifier, connect to. So any questions so far? Whenever you do the changes in the mapping, first you need to save it. After that, what you need to do, you need to refresh your session. Select your session, right click, fill the option, refresh repository. So now you can run the session. Select your session, right click, there is option, start task. Running state succeeded. See, 9 rows read from source, those 9 rows log into the target also. Now you can check in the database as well. Select star row. See, you see the file name. So this record comes from this file, emp info. Next 3 records came from info 1. Next 3 records came from. So it depends on the requirement. If you want to use it, you can use it. If not required, you can ignore that file name. Any questions so far? So these are the things generally we use in real-time environment. Fixed width we don't use much, very rarely we use unless it is a constant. If you know that, then only we go for fixed width flat file. So the structure is same, either fixed width file creation or uh, delimiter file. See here, suppose if you want to create fixed width flat file definition, sources, create, or you can go for, if you have fixed width flat file, you can go for import from file. So ff underscore. So double click on this. So here by default it is showing delimiter, right? So here you need to select fixed width option. And then go to columns tab, add the columns in a normal fashion. Number, area, insert. So you need to define each and every column length. It is very important. Double. Suppose you want 5 digits, do 5. Employee name 10 characters. Okay. Salary only 4 digits. Like this you need to define. So how do you know that is a fixed width or delimited? Just double click on the structure, then you can see. See, it is showing red button fixed width. So in the mapping level, you cannot see fixed width or flat width here. It's not showing. Here also, you cannot see. So that is a fixed width or delimited flat file. You want to know, go to source structure and see there. So most of the times we get flat files as sources. Very few cases we will provide flat files as targets to our downstreams. Sometimes we will get multiple flat files. So in that case you can go for file list or file indirect method, which is very useful. So if you want to populate file name also, that row come from which file, you can enable that file name port option as well. Any questions so far?
Venkat.
Hmm. Tell me.
So just I want to just connect to my real time experience.
Mm-hmm.
So in our project also we receive data in flat file.
Mm-hmm.
So after receiving the data in flat file, we place that in a directory or in a network drive,
Yeah.
and then we run commands on Unix
Mm-hmm.
like
What commands you
and
are
then
running?
coverage processor. Like there are some run commands.
Mm-hmm. Maybe see
Hello.
if maybe
So
they.
once I once I run those commands, then the whatever data is there in that flat file,
Mm-hmm.
it goes and loads into the tables.
Yes. See what they are doing is so in there is a flexibility in Informatica through Unix script also you can run a workflow. There is a command they will use in PMCMD. There is a command here we have PMCMD. Here you are going to give I means integration service name and folder name, workflow name. Everything you give in the PMCMD command. So there is one option start workflow. So if you give like this in a Unix, from Unix itself, it will run automatically the workflow. So in your case, that might be the reason.
Oh, okay.
So if you need more help, you can go to help contents. You can type PMCMD. You will get more information. See running commands in command line mode. You can see using PMCMD. See here PMCMD start workflow. SV integration service name, domain name, username, password, folder name, workflow name. If you give like this in Unix, automatically it will trigger. So when you run the Unix script, open your monitor, workflow monitor, check what the script it contains. So which folder name and what is the
Okay.
workflow name, and you can see all those details and open at the same time. Before running, open the monitor. Once you start the script, you can see in the monitor. Once workflow started, you can automatically see in the monitor also that is going to run.
Okay.
So in your company also, are they using Informatica tool or to process flat files? Are they using some other tool?
No, not Informatica. That's what they use normal PL SQL.
Okay, then PL SQL means you cannot see.
There is a PL SQL pack.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Yeah, that's what.
yeah. So there are two ways you can run directly
We
from.
have flat files. We
Mhm.
have lots.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we have lots of data. Like every day we get thousands of rows of data, and
Mm-hmm.
then we have already all the code already is there, right, in production. So we run just these commands, and this data gets loaded into
Mm-hmm.
the tables.
Okay.
As soon as we run the Unix commands, so that data gets
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
loaded into the tables. Some many will be erroring out. Many will be erroring out due to the like the file with like the columns are not aligned properly, or
Mm-hmm.
the data is not aligned properly. Sometimes the data has zeros, or
Mm-hmm.
instead of date format there's something else.
Yeah, yeah, correct.
So there will be lots of errors. So we go and look at what is the error and
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, in the next class, I will explain important concepts STDs, slowly changing dimensions.
Okay.
So tomorrow we meet at the same time. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.